Alright, so this video we're going to look at finding the function of a polynomial given the zeros. So we're given zeros and we're given this condition that p of 1 is equal to 1. So you can see this is example 4. I've got 3 other examples. They're all different, so you might want to check them out. But before we get started, let's just look at if we solve a quadratic function, because we're going to work it similar, but we're going to work it backwards. So, if we factor, that's x plus 3, x plus 2, so x plus 3 equals 0, or x plus 2 equals 0. And you should know how to do this if you're at this point in math. So we get solutions of -3 and -2. So you can see that's what they give us. They give us the solutions, okay, which is this. And we're working our way back to this. So we're going to go back through each of these steps. That's how we're going to put this together to get our polynomial. All right. So let's look at this. So we have, it's a 4th degree polynomial. We have zeros at 1 plus 2i and 1 minus I. Now remember this. If 1 plus 2i is a solution, then 1 minus 2i is also a solution. Remember your conjugate pairs theorem. And if 1 minus I is a solution, 1 plus I. Remember, if you have a complex number, if they give you 1 plus 2i as a solution, its conjugate is also a solution. And we have the 1 minus I as a solution, so its conjugate is also a solution. That's a theorem. Okay. All right. So what do we have? We have x equals 1 plus 2i, or x equal 1 minus 2i, or x equal 1 minus I, or x equal 1 plus I. All right. So now we need to move each of these over. Okay. So if I move all of this over, I'm going to get x minus 1 plus 2i equals 0, or x minus 1 minus 2i equals 0, or x minus 1 minus I equals 0, or let's see, x minus 1 plus I equals 0. Make sure I'm not running off the screen. Okay. And then I put all these together multiplied. So that's my polynomial. P of x is equal to, so that's x minus 1 minus 2i times x minus 1 minus, oh, I'm sorry, this is plus 1 minus 2i times x minus 1 minus I times x minus 1 plus I. All right. Now what this is saying is if I plug 1 in for x, I should get 1 as an answer. So if I plug 1 into this right here, well, I don't really know what I'm going to get. Plugging the 1 into that, I'm going to get some number. Well, that number has to equal this 1 here. Okay, after I evaluate this when I plug 1 in. Okay, well, it may not equal 1, but I can multiply this by some number a times that number, so I can make a to be a number that when I multiply a times whatever this is, I get 1 as an answer. So that's why, let me move this over. So that's why I've got P of X equals, so that's why I'm going to multiply all of that by A. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to plug 1 in for X. So I've got P of 1 equals A times 1, plug the 1 in. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and distribute the negative here, get rid of the parentheses in here. So that's going to be 1 minus 1 minus 2i times 1, plug the 1 in here, minus 1 plus 2i times, plug the 1 in for x, distribute, minus 1 plus I, plug the 1 in here, 1, distribute the negative, minus 1 minus I. I'll make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, now you notice how I plugged the 1 in for x. So I've got P of 1. Well, what is P of 1? P of 1 is 1. So this should equal 1. Okay. Now, I have an equation here. You see this equation? I can solve that for A. Alright, so that's going to give me A times, well look, that goes to 0. 1 minus 1 is 0, so that's negative 2i times, that goes to 0 times 2i. This goes to 0 times I. This goes to 0, so times negative I. And that equals 1. Well, that worked out pretty good, didn't it? Alright, so now I have A times, and this is what? That's negative 4i squared times, I got negative 1 right here. That should be negative I. Alright, and I times negative I is negative I squared. That equals 1. And so A times, well, that's negative 4 times, well, what's I squared? It's negative 1. And then this is negative, and then I squared is negative 1 equals 1. So this is, look at that, this is 4, this is positive 1. So that's going to give me 4A equals 1. So A is equal to 1/4. Alright, so we've got A is 1/4. So now what I'm going to have to do, and I'm going to erase this so I can come back up some. I've got A is 1/4. A is equal to 1/4. And I'll erase it down here. Alright, so now I'm just going to take where the A equals the 1/4, and that gets plugged right into there, and that's going to give me my polynomial. So I get P of X is equal to 1/4 times, and then this, X minus 1 plus 2i. And you know, if you wanted, I guess if you want to, you could take the X minus this, you could go ahead and distribute the minus. Let's do that, minus 2i. Let's distribute the negative here, X minus 1 plus 2i. Distribute the negative 1 here, so that's X minus 1 plus I. Distribute the negative here, X minus 1 minus I. And this would be your polynomial. Okay. And yes, you know, I guess if you wanted to, you could multiply all that out. I'm not going to, because it'd take a while to do it. I don't think your teacher would ask you to do that. I think they would just let you leave it like this. So, you know, there's your answer. But if you did multiply it out, you can see you would get an x to the 4th. You would get your degree 4. So, hope this helped. Give me a like, subscribe, share, and thanks for watching.